Graffiti comes with a number of extras that make constructing complicated graffiti configurations easier. And when you don't have any text selected in Graffiti, for example, here I've just clicked on some text, but I haven't selected it, then I see a bunch of icons in the Graffiti editor panel. This icon here will let me have a inline terminal. This will let me have a button that can be used to run Graffiti. And this icon here gives me a combination of a terminal and a run button and a code cell. So let's try this more complicated one to get going here. We click this, and now what I get is I get a code cell here, which will be auto-saved whenever I make changes. I get a terminal shell, and I get a run code button. And by default, the first thing you'll get out of the run code button is basically just running this cat command on a file called Graffiti sample. Graffiti sample is the file that is automatically created by making changes in this code cell. So if we type some code in here and we click run code, we can now see the word hello here is in the file that is persisted. And if you want to reconfigure this, you simply click on the cell containing the button and click edit to edit the directives, and then take a look at these directives. You'll see, so for the button, we want it to play the graffiti when you click the button. We don't want to show any tooltip for this graffiti. We want to save to a file called graffitisample.txt everything that's in the cell that's right here. We'll take a look at this ID in a second to verify that's the case. And then we want to run this terminal command on this cell, which is the terminal cell, the cat command. So you can change this to any shell command that you want. You can change this to any file name that you want. And once you've done that, you can control how this run code button behaves. If we go into Jupyter and we go to View, Cell Toolbar, Edit Metadata, and then we click on Edit Metadata for the code cell, you'll see here Graffiti Cell ID, ID W3RV2DZ. That is the ID that we were auto-saving for in the directive. So you can look down here and you see ID W3RV2Z. So by default, Graffiti has automatically wired up these IDs for you. You don't have to worry about them. But if you need to change it, you can come back here and change it at any time. Some other interesting things you can do with the extras, we call them, in Graffiti are down here. So this particular extra is a show hide button, and this one is lock markdown. So the show hide button, if you click it, if you already have a cell selected with a button on it, it'll just add another button to that cell. And this one, we click show solution, it will say file unavailable. The file you requested with insert data from file was not found, because by default, we haven't told it what file we want to insert. But just like the rest of the graffiti buttons, if you select that graffiti and you hit edit, you can see the directives for that particular graffiti here, and the file that it's trying to load is called example.txt. So if you were to change this to, let's say, this file graffitisample.txt. So let's try that. And we're going to run this. Now, click show solution. Bingo. Clicking show solution will paste the code from the file that we persisted out of this cell into a cell down here for display. So you might have a solution file stored on in the directory where the graffiti is, or where your notebook is, and the show hide solution can show and hide that file as you like. The last fun functionality here is this lock markdown, and this is very simple. When you click this, it will ask you if you want to lock the markdown cells in the notebook. The icon now becomes red, and what this means is a student can't edit any of the markdown cells. This is useful if you want to keep them from accidentally disturbing any graffiti that you've associated with markdown, or you just want them to focus only on code cells. those cells you can still work in and edit without change. Finally, you can unlock, and you'll go back to a green lock, and now you or the student can go and edit Markdown as before. Thanks for watching.